springtime in Wisconsin.
And in some places in the woods there's still snow, while in other places it really feels like spring has arrived.
If you live in a place where there's snow, then your hands, your feet, they've gotten a little bit soft over the winter. No matter how much we try to go barefoot out in the woods in the winter, the fact is, at least for me, that, I have to wear shoes or boots for the majority of the winter time. Same with the hands. They have gloves or mittens on a lot. And so as soon as we get out here in the spring and we get excited about jumping around in the woods, well, our feet can get cut up, our hands can get shredded when we're trying to climb trees and we, take a sharp branch into our palm. So what I'm going to do today is share some techniques that I use to get my hands and my feet back in shape for really good woods adventures. And this also applies if you've just been living inside for a long time and you want to start conditioning your feet or your hands. You're getting into woods parkour or just starting to hike more and think, maybe once in a while I want to take my boots off. All right, here's a good way to get started.
Obviously the first thing I need to do is get those shoes off and get my feet on the ground. And as we're walking on the ground, there's a lot of terrain out here. And I'm going to try to find a place that doesn't give me too many terrain challenges at first. So I can just let the bottoms of my feet kind of feel the ground again. I'm trying to find things though like rocks. You can see there's a mossy stone here. That allows my foot to curl over it. And it gets the ligaments and the tendons stretched out again. And so take time to stop on rocks, or if you don't have rocks, then fallen branches work just as well, or the roots of trees. We want our feet to really start to feel what it's like to be in different planes of motion and to get our toes activated again. If you have sharper rocks, then you can start to really get your feet down on those edges. And that allows them to feel what it's like to bend hard over something, because if your terrain's anything like mine, you're moving through the woods, you're going to step on one of these rocks. And if you're not ready for that, it's a pretty sharp one like this one, then that can really hurt your feet. Again, even if you don't have rocks, these guys are going to do the same thing. So let your feet curl over it. As I walk through the woods, I'm not looking for the smoothest path, but I'm looking for a path that's going to challenge my feet and give them a little bit of workout. One of your best friends for getting your hands and feet back in shape are trees. And this is a red oak, and it's a perfect one to start with. What you're looking for, I'll bring you up close, is a tree that's going to have hard, non-crumbly bark. I'm doing this just to be nice to the tree. There's no way my hands or feet are going to hurt this red oak. Plus, it has smoother bark. It's not really sharp. When I run my hands down it, I'm not going to cut or abrade myself. This is a perfect place to start doing some hand and foot conditioning. So all I'm going to do, if I'm going to start with my feet, is do some front kicks out onto the tree and back down. And go ahead and do it as hard as you want. Don't bruise the bottom of your feet. That's going to set you way back. But this gives them a little bit of a head start. Doesn't have to be a beautiful martial arts kick. You're just trying to get that foot up there, get a little bit of abrasion. The next thing to do is your hands, like Mirabelle's doing. So my hands are just going to be open. I'm just going to do open hand strikes against the tree. My fingers kind of spread wide, and that allows the bark to hit on the edges of my fingers.
Yeah, it's kind of nice.
Yeah. Then you can move to another tree. So this is a white pine, eastern white pine, and this bark is really jagged, so it's very abrasive. If you think of the red oak as a really fine sandpaper that's not going to do a lot of damage to your hands, this white pine is like a coarse sandpaper. It means it's going to give you a lot better conditioning, but work up to it, because it can hurt if you just go straight to this.
Broke my eye.
Hands and feet. If you're interested in conditioning your hands and your feet, give those two things a try. Remember, first of all, for your feet, go out on terrain. Nothing that's going to be too intense, but look for things that have edges and ridges so that your feet can move over them. We need to get those ligaments, tendons, and muscles back in shape. If they've been in the cast that is a shoe, they're going to be really weak after the winter. So ease them back into shape. And then make friends with the trees, go out, foot strikes and hand strikes on those trees, and those are going to condition the skin so that it's not so baby soft. And when you're climbing around or jumping around and you step on something and you grab something that's a little bit too sharp, you don't rip yourself open in the same way. All right, happy conditioning, and let me know if you're giving barefoot a try, how it goes, what you love about it, and we'll talk with you soon.